Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Howard Leppo, and I'm an integrative nutrition health coach, and I specialize in perimenopause and menopause. And today, I would like to talk to you about anxiety. Anxiety actually is the reason why I did not do a video for you last week. And so I wanted to kind of talk about that because a lot of women coming into midlife do experience maybe anxiety for the first time, or sometimes if you've grown up with a little bit of anxiety in your health background, like I have, maybe it can intensify sometimes during this time. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my personal experience over the last week, and then another experience of a friend that's an extreme experience, and kind of talk about that. So last week, for whatever reason, I was experiencing high anxiety to the point where thinking about doing this video and pretty much doing anything but the minimum to get by was really constrictive, if you will. It's like my body just didn't want to do it. It was coming up with all of these excuses as to why you can't do it. And some of those went from, well, I need to spend time preparing for the upcoming winter storm, or um, two other things like, well, what would people say? People are going to leave bad comments if I do another video, and I'm afraid of those comments, and that's very fearful. So I had that crippling anxiety, and it didn't want me to do this video, so I didn't. I just took care of myself. And when you have episodes of that, I also encourage you to take care of yourself. And really, what that also looked like for me was old habit patterns of avoidance. So that's kind of like doing everything but what it is that you need to do. For me, I am a big journaler. I believe in journaling. However, excessive journaling, like anything else, going, not keeping that in moderation, going to excesses, to extremes, can be a way of procrastinating and avoiding. So I was doing a lot of that, and really just a lot of kind of hand wringing. And then what slowly started to come back in, which I'm grateful for, is knowing that I've been in this house for 5 years now. We've had several ice storms, we've had several winter storms. We have never lost power. Okay. So, and we have generators here as well. So I knew if I prepped well with supplies, food, bottled water, pet food, those kinds of things, I would be okay. We have fuel for the generators. We've got generators. It's not going to be the end of the world. And it's never happened here. Unlike my old house, where we would lose power at seemingly the drop of a hat. Every time the wind blew, we lost power, storm or not. So I started to calm myself down from that. I started doing some different types of breath work other than just the norm that I tend to go to. And that was helping a lot. And this may sound crazy to some people, but I was reading some books and really around this time, and I had this intense desire to get back into praying with my rosary beads. And I started doing that. And over the last week, because I've been doing it at bedtime, it has really, really brought to me slowly but surely a sense of calm and a place of that less anxiety. So I'm not saying that you should just go out and buy a rosary if you don't have one and just start praying with it. I'm just saying that is my progression as to how I got kind of better and back on the rails over the last week. Not everybody's Catholic, not everybody has that, but this is just what happened to me, my experience. And so I've now incorporated that into my normal bedtime routine. And it's something I really like. Having anxiety, experiencing it, or maybe a little bit more during this time period in your life, is normal for it to come up. What's not normal is how bad it can be, or let it get sometimes before we get help. And sometimes it can seemingly happen really, really fast or really, really sudden versus gradually over a period of months or years. So, to give you an extreme example, I know someone who she's 50 years old, and the anxiety that she has now was not what she had when she was younger. And it is so crippling for her. She is afraid to leave her house. She's afraid to drive her car. So she has to rely on friends, family, and ride shares like Uber and Lyft to get to the places that she needs to go. So it's just very crippling for her. Okay, that is an extreme example. That's not where we want to go. That is not normal anxiety. That's the anxiety where we definitely want to work on reducing that so we can be functional in society again, functional in our lives, do the things we want to do the things we have to do, all of those kinds of things. So those kinds of things, constant panic attack, even suicidal thoughts, that those are things when we really, really want and need to seek help. And I'm not saying everybody should be put on medication. Some people just talk therapy is enough. Some people do need a little bit of medication. Some people, again, need to change nutrition and lifestyle because we know that there is a gut health and mind connection. And you've got a lot of neurotransmitters in your gut, just like you do in the brain. And so, what you feed yourself, what you feed that gut bacteria, I don't want to say enhances the mood. That's not the, although it could be if you're looking for a good mood. Um, feed your move affects your move is what I want to say. So we want to nourish that with good food, not a whole lot of sugar, those kinds of things, in order to have that optimal health and optimal functioning. So those are some things you can do. I know people, wonderful nutrition, wonderful lifestyle practices. They still need just a little bit more of something to help them through things. So don't be afraid to seek out a mental health professional to help you through that. Medications are wonderful. We can argue that our society is over medicated, and that's not necessarily a bad argument, but we also have those drugs for a reason. And many, many people function really well on those drugs. They need those drugs. And in some cases, for them and their families, it can be life saving as well as life changing. So I'm not poo pooing on drugs, but it's a matter of finding the right one at the right dose for you if needed. So I just wanted to make sure that you did know that even though I come on here with a happy face, and I am most of the time, sometimes life happens to me too. I am not immune from that. And sometimes anxiety also gets the best of me. You are not alone if you're experiencing that. So I wanted to share that story. And yeah, don't be afraid to seek that help. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody. I guarantee you are not alone. And so I hope that by sharing that story was helpful to you and gave you some helpful tips on what you can do to help with that and when you need to get that help. So I'm happy to hear from you if you need additional resources or just want to talk about menopause and perimenopause in general. My contact information is right after this video. And I hope that you have a wonderful day, wonderful week ahead. Take a breath, take a sip of water, and we're all in this together. Thank you so much.